Thank you that we can come here. Thank you for bringing each and every one of us here safely. Lord, we are grateful for the chance once again to learn about the rules of life. We are grateful for where you have brought us from, and we are also very grateful for this great opportunity. Father, we ask that as we have come here, that you will teach us and guide us. Help us to identify our flaws. Help us to identify areas where we've had the pitfalls, and help us to pick up the pieces and run this race, oh God. Let it be that when we see you, you'll be pleased with us. And for those who are coming, we pray that you bring them through. Let us have a wonderful time today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. You're welcome to another session. It's KBBM. And it's the third episode of Rules for Life. So we're going to start by running through introductions like we've done. Where's the mic? Like we've done in past sessions. Can we have a microphone, please? Okay. Now, before we do that, we are going to take testimonies of, people who you come share how what has been taught here has been beneficial to you. And I would like to, do we have people who want to share testimonies? Can you indicate by raising your hand? Okay, so while we await that, let's just do the introductions. Can start from my left.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Edikan Francis Otu. I am the head of research and publications, SIP Support Center. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Sevio Kofia. I'm a project manager at Bulletin Construction Company.
Good morning. My name is Gesir Boma Bakadermo. I'm a baker.
Good morning, all. My name is Mr. Didion Brownson. I'm the resident pastor of God's Lighthouse.
Good morning. My name is Samuel James Wilson. I'm the director of Samplex Ventures. We deal on painting, book supply, and cleaning.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Solomon Ekanem of Leocan Mobile.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Insidibe Brownson. I'm a virtual assistant.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Afion Udofia, legal practitioner at Ndukwe Now Chisan & Co.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Godwin Nwana. I'm the CEO of Omega Classic Communication. We deal on selling of phones and accessories. We also sell parts, and we offer software and hardware service to laptops.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Victory Udo, a storekeeper at GAM8 Foundation.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kelechi Uchuku, and I'm administrative staff at GAM8 Foundation.
Good morning, everyone. I am Anita Felix. I am the lead instructor at Parlez-vous Français. It's a French learning institute.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sifon Okon. I'm the manager at UC Digital Services.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Teresa Edowai. I manage the GAM8 kitchen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Euphemia. I am the creative director of Fresh and Greens. We make healthy treats for people, and we also create healthy alternatives in terms of food for people who have challenges when it comes to eating. I'm also a homemaker. I teach people basic homemaking skills, and I teach people how to cook.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dara Jackson. I'm a GAM tech staff.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Xavier Ekpo, and I'm the team lead on the GAM, the music department.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Victor Okol. I'm the content creator for today's event.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bright. I'm an audio and video editor working with media production.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Uyemo too. I'm streaming for this meeting.
I'm Edima Sunny. I am an audio and video editor.
I'm Joe Ekpo, and I'm handling the projection for this meeting.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Darlington, CEO Dial Stores.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emedian Utibe. I am the photographer for today.
Very interesting introductions. I hope we understand why we have these introductions. It's a chance to network. So please, let's take it wholeheartedly. And yes, sir.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sadi Udoka, Head of Operations on Perplex Consulting.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Annie Bete Kong. I work here on Perplex Consulting.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Utibe Okbe. I work with Perplex Consulting.
Good morning, everyone. I am Favor Normal Only, Head of GAM Publishing.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Bright John. I work with Perplex Consulting as a lawyer and the head of marketing. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your introductions. Thank you for helping us know you. And in case we have issues, we have legal issues or we have project management issues, so we know that we have people in the room who can fix our problems and many other things. We have food issues. There's GAM 8 Kitchen, there's Fresh and Greens, we have music and all that. And we know that our issues will be sorted. So without wasting much time, we are going to move forward with this event. Let me introduce myself. My name is Aniepo Nepot. I'm here on behalf of New Year Transaction Company. And New Year Transaction Company deals with business development, business and property development. And I would like to invite someone to the high table in person of Mr. Edidion Brownson. Please encourage him as he comes up. Okay, thank you very much for that. So we are going to move into, I had mentioned testimonies from the last KBBM event. How many of us were here for that event? Okay, so I guess we just have a few people who were not here, who did not attend the event. And for those of us who were here, you learned a whole lot of things. We did a number of rules. I think we did 9 rules for life. And we would like to hear testimonies from different ones of us who have gone ahead to implement some of the things that we had learned. We had said that we want to be very practical people. We learn and we do. So how many of us have testimonies to share with us? Just some of the things that you did, or while you went back and you looked at your notes, there may be things that you noticed that, I wasn't doing this, and I put it into practice, and you started seeing gains. Do we have anyone is there anybody who would like to share that with us? Or is it that that after learning, we close the book? That wouldn't be right. The idea is for us to put these things to practice so that you can also teach other people, you can also lead other people and show them that these rules are working. okay, so let me set the ball rolling. I think it will help other people. 9 rules. I looked at these 9 rules. I realized that, yes, a lot of these things, I put them to practice. And I'll start with altar before agenda, which was the first rule. I realized that, oh yeah, if you do not, that starting the day by just talking to God helps. It helps to set the ball rolling for your day. It helps just to know, you put things in place. And it's not like I was not doing it, but I think I realized that, just being very consistent, because I know, yes, there could be times here and there where, you're not, where I would probably just miss and then maybe do it later. But I now made up my mind after that meeting to ensure that I have that time with the Lord just before I step out to do anything. And I would say that so far from the last meeting, it has been very, it's been very rewarding for me. It has helped me. I think it's just been a relief, has helped me plan my day better, has helped me navigate through the day far better than I would have if I had just taken off. And I also discovered something that sometimes, when you don't put a time to it, like you say, I wake up by 6 o'clock or something, you realize that if you're just putting that time helps. It's almost like you're putting a tag on yourself or a leash on yourself, and it helps you so much, makes you very, very, just makes you know that, your word, this thing, I usually like saying to myself, my word is my bond. So the fact that I have said it, I have to do it. That's, is something that I had taken note of. Of course, using a daily planner, I used to use I would use an app on my phone, which is Google To Do, and I would put my to-dos. Now, I was already doing to-dos a lot, like just write on a book, things I want to do for the day, because I realized that at some point, I would forget things that normally, I remember it and I'll say, okay, I'll do it. And I would forget them. The things would escape my mind. And so I used to just write on a book. But when I started doing it with an app, I realized that the app would show me many times I had failed not to do the thing. In fact, sometimes I'll open the app and go and look at it and discover that for a particular thing, maybe I'm 4 weeks late. I'm like, oh my God, it's not like I didn't want to do it, but it didn't even occur to me. But, so what I did was, okay, I would write and also use the app. And I started using the planners. We had these planners here, that we talked about the last time. So I started using the planner. Then I realized something that, if you don't do these things consistently, sometimes when you want to start using the planner, you just start feeling, oh my God, what do I write? Well, and all that. But constant practice helps, because it makes you also fine tune your thoughts, and then okay. And then it made me prioritize. So I would do so right now what I'm doing is I do the app and I have a book where I write the things I want to do. And then the discipline to also tick off and say, okay, I didn't do this thing. Now you can also score yourself. So I would score like, okay, I didn't do this one. I did 1, 2, 3. I didn't do this one. And more or less asking myself, why didn't I do it? And all that. So yes, that meeting helped to reemphasize the fact that I should continue with a daily planner. I also realized that, just based on this, I realized that we have 24 hours in a day, and apart from when you take out the time for sleeping and all that we just have this time, it's consistent and we have to make use of it. So I realized that doing these planners helps, because it helps me pull time, helps me save time from different places. It's like budgeting time. And then one other thing I discovered is that you have to be a good manager of resources. So in project management, there are 3 things there's 3 critical, they call them critical success factors. It's like on a triangle, and you have costs, you have resources, and you have time. Now, in the course, if you do the course, they would write it, put it on a triangle, and you can tilt it anyhow. The fact that you have these things on the 3 sides of the triangle shows that one is not more important than the other. So if you cannot manage the 3, what happens is that one will, it's either if you manage cost and time, you might fail if you don't manage resources, which will affect your project. So that's how it is. Any side you turn it to, all three are always very important. And I now discovered that, so this helped me realize, okay, I need to actually budget my time, because time is very, very critical. And of course, as you learn to budget or manage your time, I like to use the word budget after that class. As you learn to do these things, it also helps you with other resources in life. Remember the thing of that to him much is given, much is expected, and the fact that God is also checking, how are you using what I have given you? I've given you time. How are you making use of it? So that helped me a lot. Vision charter, yes, very important. Always have very many visions in our head. And but I now discovered, okay, it's the vision God has given you, and then you can write it out. You can, as you're praying, as I just realized, I could have visions in my head of so many things, but I have not really taken out the time to write them. And then as a result of that, it doesn't make me, for some of them, doesn't make me show how I'm going to, like my steps to achieve certain things, So that was something that really made a lot of sense. And there are many others. Just one more before I call for other testimonies, was the thing about, let me see. Yes, constraints hunt. What's the limit? What's limiting your progress? I noted mine as distractions. I noted mine as, I first of all identified one of the biggest ones, a phone, a device. You get on certain apps and you look at reels, and before you know it, it was just someone actually, the thing where someone actually sends you a reel and it's a nice one. You look at it, it's nice. Then the reel now does a countdown for you. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. The next thing enters the next thing. So the thing is, I would just enter and I was already carried away by how interesting the first one was. So you enter the next one, I'm like, oh God, before you know it, I check. I've spent so much time here. 1 hour gone. And the thing with budgeting your time is that when you've lost that, you start thinking, so where, for me to do other things, it means I have to take time from other things. So who pays for that? So that makes me indebted. That means that if I will have to achieve that thing, it will shift to even things like the time of sleep and, just many other things. So I had started identifying my constraints. I realized that if I had a meeting with somebody, it's better if I go to someone's office, it's better. I could say the meeting is 1 hour, I'll leave. If someone comes to my own space, it's a tendency that we will gist and keep on gisting, because sometimes I'm like, okay, do I just send the person away? And probably someone that also likes gist. And so we keep on talking. We finish what we want to discuss. And because it's not that's not how we've grown up in this part of the world, where we are so, in the West, someone says to you, we meet in 5 minutes. You say, okay, yes. Then you waste 10 minutes. The person has the right he will go. Because as far as he's concerned, he said, we said 5 minutes. You didn't show up, so I left. But that's not how we were raised. So sometimes we can't tell someone, you said this meeting, it's 1 hour, and then we stand up. Sometimes we tend to just flow with the gist. Even at times we meet, and then what we're talking about, we were meant to meet for 1 hour, start the discussion, 20 minutes is something else. Before we now say, hey, let's talk about the business for the day. So I identified all these things. I would rather do an online call, because it constrains us to end the call at a particular time. So start the call and say, now for things that we can do online, and there are many things, I would say, okay, so this meeting is 45 minutes. Already, if you're using maybe you're using Zoom or whatever, it constrains you, but you say, okay, this meeting is for 45 minutes, we start and then we end it. So these are all the things I would say that has helped me from the last session. And I I feel that, yes, if we keep on, of course, if you look at all the things, there are a lot of things. If you look at all these things, I believe that we can we can continue. I mean, we can learn so many things that would help us with the rules. Many of these things made me look forward to hearing the other parts, which is holding today. And yes, just makes me excited because I mean, when I look at the things, if with just some of these things, and I'm already seeing that, oh, I could do much, much better, then it makes me know that yes, if I take in the remaining ones, that I would be very successful with all that I am doing. The Frog Fest thing was also another thing that was really, really rewarding. Eating the Frog Fest also made me realize, okay, so look at the things that are what's the big thing? What's that? The frog. What's this one that is so the most important? So I would say in a nutshell that after that KBBM session, after that meeting, I think I had this. I think I felt revived. I felt that all of a sudden there was this refreshing feeling. I've tried to do to-dos and plan my day and do some of these things before, and then sometimes do it, drop the ball, leave it, and just continue like that. But I think that meeting was an opportunity to revive everything and just start the journey all over again. It makes me very excited for the year ahead. Makes me very, very excited for the journey ahead. And I believe that it's going to be a very interesting time as we move on in our journey, on this journey. So there was something about, yes, decluttering, resetting. Oh yes, I started doing that. Started looking at apps on my phone which were not which were not important, and I started rooting them out. Just pulling an app out. Oh, this app. I'm still on that process. I'm not done yet, but I already have a mental note of some of these things that I realized. Oh, I've not used this app in about 200 days. Yeah, there are apps like that. I've not used it in a while, or this one I've not used it in months. So what's the point? I could take this app away. So these are many of the things that has really, amongst many other things, these are some of the things amongst many others that have really, really been a blessing to me in this session. And I would also like to encourage you that you can do same. You can take the time and apply the things that we've been taught here. And definitely, I believe that you will have great testimonies to tell. That in the next KBBM session, you show up, you would have awesome testimonies, about your business, about different things. I look at these things and I realize that this is what CEOs gather and talk about. They gather and talk about ways to maximize time, ways to ensure that they are a bit more efficient with what they are doing. And it's just these things that the Lord has brought before us that they look at. Someone gave me a link to what is more or less like a CEO's forum or so. So I get these emails from them I think it's monthly or something. And you realize they just talk about things like this that you can put them together and it would help you with what you are doing, how to boost what you are doing per day. It's not, I know sometimes someone might think, oh, since they are CEOs of big companies, might think they are doing very complex things, but no, it's not the case. People just keep discussing. And this is good because we are pulling these things from the Bible and we know that God is the one who is helping us to, that God is ahead of us in this, just having that assurance helps a lot. Having the assurance that despite what happens, if you step out there, that God would help you, and God goes ahead of you, and God is mindful of you to even give you these rules. Yes. So that has been my testimony thus far. And I would, I would implore you to do same like me. Go back, read your notes, and we can have, you would know that your time here isn't a waste. Okay. So, you have a testimony? Can we still take testimonies? Maybe one. Okay, so let's have.
Good morning again, everyone. My name is Euphemia. So I'll just like to share some things that I learned and God has used to bless me just this last 1 week. Before now, I had encountered what people call creative block. So for people who know me, I can sit in a place and my head spins. Like, okay, we do this, we do that. But before now, I had gotten to a place where I'll just stay and the time is moving, but there's nothing on my mind. Like my mind is blank. And it had really bothered me a lot. So during the last session, as Barrister Ita was talking, it dawned on me that it was actually a very serious thing for someone like me whose major ability is her ability to think and process things. So the more he shared, the more God shone light on so many things that I was going through. And one thing God really addressed that during the last KBBM was the fact that, so I used to think I'm a sinner. You know how I sit before God? I tell people who are close to me that the most important, like the period where I have lots of ideas is actually when I'm seated to pray. So many things will run. And sometimes from the beginning of the idea to how to just orchestrate these things. And during that session, Barrister Ita showed us that these things are very okay for some people. I used to think there's something wrong with me. Yes, some of them can actually be distraction. But so he just gave a very simple instruction when those ideas come. So go with a separate jotter. When those ideas come, do not try to write the full gist. Just write pen. I mean, during one of my prayer sessions, I noticed for the first time that, and I was asking myself, how come there is nothing like toilet, like a private owned toilet by, let's say, this AKTC place? It can be a thriving business. And the idea just came in my place of prayer. So, but for the very first time, I knew that God can use something as simple as a jotter and a biro to help me control these thoughts. And I am very thankful that I will not just lose these ideas. I can still control these ideas while spending time with God without being distracted. So the instruction was, when the ideas come, just write one thing and move on to pray. Secondly, I am very grateful to God that, during one of the exercises, I think when Pastor Barrister Ita was talking about the vision charter, I realized that I had gotten to a place of burnout as a business person. And when we were asked to write out some things, your long-term goals, I sat down and I was stuck. And for me, it was shocking. Like, I noticed people were writing in the next 3 months, in the next 4 months. I could not write anything. And I am grateful because God used that session to address the fact that you had gotten to a place where you were just living and you did not really look forward to. I didn't really have anything special to look forward to. So that period was a struggle. But when I went home, I tried it again. And I now discovered that there were so many things that God was already speaking to me about. But because of this burnout, I had dropped them. I wasn't really dwelling or processing or looking for ways to build them. So I am very, very grateful to God for that session. I am also thankful that this last session helped me to evaluate my life as a human being and as a business owner. And I discovered that some of the things I was majoring in were actually just minor things. And there were some things that God had called me to do that maybe because I didn't want to do them or because I have been afraid all because of just mere carelessness. I mean, after that session on Monday, I was talking to my husband and he said something. And I was like, because that's actually something, if you ask me, I wouldn't want to do. But for the first time, I was able to sit down and process. This is actually one of the things God has called me to do. And I know that if I had not gone through that session where we were encouraged by Barrister to look at things, some things are not important. Some things are not things that God would want you to do, but you're trying to beat yourself over. So I was able to analyze myself, etc. I have been able to successfully prioritize my time. And I have been able to take my scheduling very serious. I mean, before now, I would just say, okay, I'll wake up. I know that, okay, I'll make yogurt production. I will do this. And sometimes that's it. Okay, I'll send reports. But I've been able to say things like, apart from making yogurt production, I will go and learn on how to better my craft, etc. So that session was just amazing for me. Again, the session where Barrister spoke about learning how to eat the frog first has really helped me, because the next day I was able to do some things I never enjoyed doing, or I would have never thought I could do. I mean, I was able to sit down, take a particular bank account, go through the transactions carefully. I would have, even like in 2027, because number one, I grew up thinking I don't like maths. I don't like maths. I only like money. But I don't like maths. And I remember one time my husband said, if you do not like maths, you're a dull person. You're not a smart person. I'm like, no, I'm not dull. But going through that session, I took 1 month bank statement. Okay, I was charged 20 naira. I was charged 50 naira. I would have never thought of it. So I am very grateful, because learning how to eat, that was a major frog for me. Maybe an elephant, not just frog. So I'm very grateful for that session. Finally, the meeting left me with the consciousness of my day. Basically, I have been able to set routines. And by the end of the day, I'll discover that, I did even more. And even the things I did not complete, I have been able to just touch base, even though I did not complete them. And I am very, very grateful to God. And I know that as we go through this, by the end of the 3 months we were given, my testimony will be ripe. In Jesus' name. Oh, and forgive me, Barrister gave a prophetic word. So when I was during the meeting, so a call kept on coming to my phone. Towards the end, a call kept on coming. I was like, I don't know this person. I don't know this person. The person, I now said, like, usually what I do, I was like, send a message. I'm in a meeting. We will attend to you, since I'm the one with the business line. The person did not send message. After that, I called and the person said, I want to order something. The person just bought like 2 different packs. The next day, the person sent me a message. I would like to see you. I want to learn how to do this. I want to learn how to do this. And I also would want to buy in bulk from you to resell, pending when I will have money to. So I thought it was a joke, because I've had calls like that. But the person came and she came again. And I was like, God is good. So I'm very grateful to God that the word that God gave through his servant that said, this month will be better than maybe other months that you've been through. It has come to pass in my life. God be praised. Amen.
We thank God for that testimony. Very rewarding. And it's such a great blessing to hear these testimonies. So, ladies and gentlemen, this program is sponsored by GAM Aid Foundation and in partnership with Unperplexed Consulting. And at this juncture, I would like to introduce the director of GAM Aid Foundation, and also he doubles as the CEO or chairman, the principal of Unperplexed Consulting. He is a pastor, a teacher of the word, and he's also a lawyer. So let us clap our hands as we have Barrister Itaudo come up to teach us.
Thank you very much, and good morning. I am pleased to be here as the principal lead for GAM Aid and GAM Aid Foundation and Unperplexed Consulting. We believe that whatever we do should be to advance the purposes of the kingdom of God. And while that appears to some to be mutually exclusive, there are those who might think, no, that doesn't go together. We have, from the very beginning of these meetings, pointed out the place of the field and the place of the temple. And while the focus of these meetings is on the field, we constantly remind you that that is no excuse to cancel out temple duties. So we have people here, myself, a primary example, who serve in the temple, but also go out into the field. You read in the scriptures of priests going out with the children of Israel to war. And we've discussed how the business war field, it's the biggest battlefield. It's bigger than the physical wars. The physical wars are fought briefly and they end. But the economic battles go on constantly. You want to destroy a nation, you attack its economy. The people will riot. There will be chaos. So there's no separation of the field from warfare. We've seen how the battles were fought in the fields typically, and on the mountain sides and the plains. The battles were not fought in the houses. You'll hear it said over and over again in the scriptures that they went out to meet. The armies camped and faced each other. It's out there in the field. And from there, we could derive the understanding that what happens in the field is warfare. I'm giving you a rehash of what we've been looking at for the whole year under the Kingdom Business Breakfast meeting. The reason for this meeting is to get people to see the reality of the battle that exists and why many casualties abound who went into the professional business world is that they did not think it was a battle. In the earlier meetings, we spoke about the high rate of mortality of businesses, how many businesses start and die. If you weren't here, and some of you were not, find the videos, watch them. 90-something% of businesses that begin die. They do not succeed. Many years ago, I was surprised to find that out. I thought someone throws in himself. No, they begin and they die. Every day, businesses are dying. If you have a successful business, you're amongst a very small percentage of people in the world. It's an absolute slaughterhouse. It's carnage in the business world. If everybody succeeded in what they did, there wouldn't be any crime. A lot of the crime, many of the evils you see, it's because of a lack of success. And that lack of success is directly rooted in the fact that there's very much opposition. You have very many foes, enemies in the business world. So we gathered here to receive the counsel of the kingdom that rules all kingdoms, the wisdom of the God who made all things, to learn from him. How can we find victory in our battles? How is it possible that we are not conquered? How can we be assured victory. This is a major reason for our gathering. This is why we come. This is what we come to learn. And any testimonies you've heard are testaments to what God can do and what God has done. If He's done it before, it means He can do it again. If He's done it for one person, I assure you He can do it for another. So the question will be, what are we willing to do to ensure that we have victory? And we've been looking at very practical ways of winning battles. We can't just talk about it. We have to experience it. How can we be sure of winning in our battles? Because you can be. We've gone all the way to purpose. We've talked about how your businesses began. Spoken about things someone shared here some weeks ago about starting, some months ago, about starting a business. And from what they got here, they realized that they should not have started the business. They did not ask God's input, and they obeyed and shut down the business and focused. They got that they ought to have served and some other things. And thereafter, when they had laid that down at the Lord's feet, He gave it back to them. And without advertising, without making any effort, the business was coming. We've heard more than one person talk about that. We've heard of people suffering loss, lots of loss in their business, terrible losses. And as they began to obey certain principles here, things began to thrive. The losses went down massively, and things got really much better. We've heard this from different people. It's enough in the short time, just weeks and months, to know that the factor, the God factor, the aspect where it is the Lord blessing a thing is extremely important. We've seen curses broken, bondages removed spiritually. We've received prophetic counsel. Our three emphasis in the Kingdom Business Breakfast meeting is purpose, prophecy, and profit. In all labor, there should be profit. So we've talked about how to labor, and we're still discussing that. You have to labor. If you don't labor, why on earth would you want any profit? Labor is hard. So lazy people don't thrive. Why should you? Psalm 90 says in prayer, establish the work of our hands. Establish it. A business that is established is one that has been recognized over time and has acquired a name. Now, if you want God to establish it, He's only establishing the work of your hands. He's not establishing the thoughts of your mind. Too many people have thoughts and the intentions of their heart. And actually, we often pray while saying something else. We are saying, God, establish the intentions of my heart. Now, I am not saying that they don't start as intentions. And I'm not saying that every thought of your heart must immediately become a work of your hand. No. Sometimes the intentions stay in the heart and percolate over many months and even years. Many years may pass before an intention manifests. It is not for you to rush it. We've spoken about serving people, about how many people go to start their own when they have not been faithful in another's. We've spoken about this and how it's an utter waste of time to want God's blessing on such a thing. We've spoken about faithfulness in another's. These are non-negotiables. And we could go on and on, but again, the videos are available online, and it would be very wise to check them out. We have many things still to say about the things we have learned and are learning. But most importantly, we have to understand that everything we do has to have a destination, a purpose. If we will be men and women who fulfill destiny, who fight battles to win, who take on challenges that will result in victory. If we are people who want to be winners, we are going to have to follow certain basic rules. And we began to look at it. We call them rules of life. And we considered that these rules are not just hard and fast, but we spoke about the importance of building something a bit strong, something a bit rigid. And then even if there will be flexibility, this flexibility should arise from what you might call the exception. And I'll repeat myself. You know how you say, I don't want to be too stiff. But in your not being too stiff, you're so flexible, you have no shape. All right? Some of us tend to be like that. Well, I have things to do. I want to be available. I want to, you heard the word adaptable. Then you abused it beyond recognition. We are not to do that. How many of you agree that sometimes we are too adaptable? We adapt to everything. The wind blows, we adapt to it, everything. There's no structure. So these rules we've been looking at are to help us have some level of structure. So every wind that blows does not carry us away, so we can achieve. How many of you have often felt if I could just stick to something, I would do so much better. All right. So in the same way, I believe that as we are going to give our hearts and our minds to being a certain level of rigidity, as we do that, God's going to help us form solid patterns that will, while we make exceptions once in a while, we will be known for a certain level of dependence. People won't look at us and say, no, don't expect much from him or her. She's likely going to fail you. She's likely not going to do what you expect. Why? Because you are too flexible. We are not to be a people who have no shape. With time, it should be expected of us that this is what you'll get from them. Okay? So as we continue to look at the rules, I will finish. What number do we stop at? We will continue from number 9, and then we will rehash for the year. The reason we fixed this special breakfast meeting was simply because we wanted to not carry over into the new year. So I'm going to request that we pay attention. I'll have to strive to be much more succinct. And the reason is so that we can do a rehash, discuss a bit. I'm hoping we'll be done by 12. And we head up. Today's meeting is unique. Yes, we always give room for the Holy Spirit to decide how the wind blows. And we've seen it blow in all kinds of directions we didn't expect. But you see, that's the beauty of bringing God into your warfare. For that's what we are doing. We're bringing God into our warfare. When you bring God into warfare, the rules adjust. If you read the Bible, you see the few times. There was this case where they fought a battle and the people were singing. And that's how they defeated the enemy. The enemy got up and killed themselves. In the business world, how would that work? It would be that a person comes to his workplace and starts to praise God because that's what God said you should do. That's not like to become the norm. The norm is you do that in a church meeting or in your room. But because you were led, and that's it. If you learn to fight with God in the picture, you're going to find out that as long as you are led to do a thing, when you do it, you'll find strange victory. I'll say that again. If you have the divine, the Spirit of God guiding you in business, He will tell you to do some strange thing. You can't deal with God and He doesn't tell you to do strange things. Not constantly, once in a while. He'll tell you to do something that doesn't go with the normal practice. And when you obey it, you're going to experience very interesting things. That is why any and everybody who walks with God has stories of strange things in their life. I therefore am saying that we can ourselves become people who do exceptionally. And we'll do exceptionally, knowing that it was God that guided us to do it. And of course, if you started a business that God is running part of, you'll also know that He owns a good part of the proceeds from the business. Yes? Some people had the divine hand in their business, then they became thieves. And God marked them down. And it's like, you're a thief, I don't trust you. Go do your business by yourself. So you have people whom God started businesses with. He started battles with. And then He allowed them fight the battle by themselves. Now, someone might say, no, you can't say that. He who began the good work. Always remember this when you think of your business. Always remember it's warfare. In the Bible, are there people that God started that were working with God and winning battles like King Asa? And along the line, they fought their own battles themselves? Yes? No? Yes. So there are people who started business with God's help. Along the line, God is no longer helping them. They ditched God. They fight. They borrowed ideas. They hired an army. King Asa hired an army. Left the simple wisdom of God. Went looking for something complicated. Went and got the services of some consultant somewhere. Spent tons of money. There was the other king who took the gods of that land, who defeated him. In other words, this guy did better than me in business, conquered me, took over the market. Oga, tell me your policy. How did you do it? And he learned from, he borrowed, he took an idea from him and adopted that method and built an altar to a strange god in the space where the temple of God was. That's exactly what's happening today. You have people bringing in idolatrous, worldly focuses, practice into their business. His name was Ahaz. He was a bad king. And the people suffered for it. People always suffer when you're defeated in battle. Whichever captain or judge or king is in charge of an area, God raises people and gives them spheres of authority. When you walk in it properly, you're like a small king. It could be over your family of 3. It could be over 100 people. Can make you a captain of 1,000. In other words, you can be the leading force in that place. When you say things, they listen. There are people who have done well in business, obeyed God, and then when they speak, their community chief listens. Everything. They are a leader by reason of finance. I'm not saying you should live here and run after money and say, I want to. No. If you are called to be a captain in the area of finance, depends on the calling. When they say that we want this community to come together and pray and ask God to forgive us, everybody comes out. So we will no longer do this. Everybody listens. Now, there's another route to it. Spiritual authority, people have done that. But I am saying that this is one of the ways. Political power, governmental power is another way. You can bring rules to bear. Economic power, different kinds of power. And there are people that God wants to empower financially. And you say, family, we will not do this anymore. And the whole family will listen. From the father and the mother and everybody down. Why? Is that not the person who built the house we are staying in? Is that not the one who bought the car? Is that not the one? Who are you? I'm the oldest brother in this house. Nobody cares. Please, stand aside, sir. Your brother is talking your talk. And the only reason is because the brother has money. So God can give you economic power to this, so you have the ability to dictate. Like Jabez, you can be more honorable than your brethren. But the question is, what's the process that got him there? He was a man of prayer. He sought the Lord. He didn't live like everybody else. Everyone who wants to see the extra will have to pay attention extra. And when God will say strange things like, Isaac, you dug that well. Yes, but leave it for them. They are dragging. The servant of God must not quarrel. Okay. He was opening wells that his father dug. Esek, Sitna, quarreling, strife arose. He left it. And then he dug one, Rehoboth. It thrived, and they did not contend with him. And he harvested 100-fold in that land. Some people would still be there fighting, sitting in that one area, not paying attention, striving, and believing, like many have believed, that the more effort you put in a thing, the more you succeed. No, not if you're involving the spirit realm. Not true. Even those who serve Satan, no, that is not their effort as much as their effort is part, but many times they have this supernatural help. They know it. They enter contract with the devil and everything changes. They're singing the same songs they were singing and exploding everywhere. Their shop is in the same place it was before. And so many people are trooping in. Why are they trooping in? Because something has been done. Something has occurred. Veils have been put on people's eyes that tell them this is the best place to enter. There are many spirits at work, cooperating and assisting. It goes from being a no-name actor to being told to act in everything. There are all kinds of prices they are paying behind. So we must know that in the business world, it's very wild. And God wants to help us in all that wildness. And if we will submit ourselves to his wisdom, follow his methods, we will do well. We continue from the 9th of the 21 rules. We had said that we had already addressed it, but I'll just say something about it. And we call it the constraint hunt. And thereafter we continue from 10. The meaning of the constraint or the constraint hunt is that the slowest point in your business sets your speed. Fix that first. The slowest point sets your speed. So, what example can we use? What is that area in your business that is a bottleneck? That when you've done everything else you do, that's the place that becomes the slowest. Who wants to give me an example? I'll give you an example first. Let's say we are printing a book, and you found out that different people can do what they need to do. But the challenge is usually with regards to typesetting, setting it on the pages. Or, from your experience in the last 2, 3, 4 times, it's the printer. When you take it to the printing place, that is where it's slowest. That's the place that bogs you down. You did everything. You stayed up all night. You got the job ready. You didn't sleep for 2 nights consecutively. And the time is Thursday, the 9th of whatever month. You need to deliver by Saturday morning. Saturday morning is the wedding. This is a program, a wedding program, the printer with all the things, or a funeral program. It's not optional. The funeral program must be in the hands of the people. Now, the last 3 times you printed something, the first time they said the machine broke down. The other time they said the guy who was cutting was not around to cut it. That had been printed, but it wasn't cut. Another time this and that. There's always something. You don't have your own printing press. But that's the slowest part. That's the part that drags it the most. You fix that first. How do you fix that? Who can tell me? Suggest, how do you fix this thing, this part that always slows down things and creates heart attacks and disasters for you? Yes. Speak. Check out other people that may print more effectively and keep their work. That means you have to search them out. Now, how do you know? Because seeing them does not mean they will deliver. And many workers have this rule. The first time someone comes, do it very well. In Nigeria, they do it very well and fail you thereafter. So that's a reality. Yes, another way you can overcome. Prepare your material ahead. Is there another one? What's the difference? That's what you mean. What are you doing the time? She's making the material during the time. Anything else?
I would like to.
Whatever you're saying cannot need a sentence.
So it's coined in a way that if you have a business and then in that your business.
Not a business, stick to an illustration.
So if you have to run around to look for, let's say the instance you gave that the cutter, for instance, is not around and all of that.
No, I did not say that. I said last time the machine was bad, another time was the cutter. There's always a story.
Okay, so I would think
But the problem is with the printing press. That's the problem.
So if it's a staff problem, then you have to get better staff to...
What staff? You don't own the printing press.
Okay, you outsource it. Oh, I was thinking it's a business that someone runs or something. Okay.
This is a situation. Now, that is another scenario which is plausible. We could look at it, but I'm talking about you are delivering. You are a printer without a printing press. You get jobs, okay? And every time you have to deliver, these are the kinds of things that come up. So how do you fix that slowest point? Any other? Close supervision. So you are there. Now, I'm keeping the other thing for last. I'll come back to it. So you are there, hovering over it like a mother hen. Therefore, observing that whole, I dropped it with them. I don't know what he did. No! You would have stood there and seen where the problem was. You would have started noticing, calculating the time, known where to say, I'm leaving and going elsewhere. You would have been there. You are there. You are there. You don't go home as usual. This is always the slowest point. This is usually the bottleneck. It's in this area. So you position yourself at the bottleneck. You don't stay where you are and say, he said, she said they would deliver. You're not learning from the past. You expected the usual. Or did you expect the usual? Question, what has been the usual? You acted in the usual way. Of course, you should be expecting the usual. That means you have to do something differently. Now, what's your focus? Your focus in your mind is that the bottleneck should do differently. But you are the one to do something differently. Because twice, thrice now, they have not changed how they operate. So you have to change how you operate. Now, back to the earlier, the time and the material. That's a primary way you're going to control things, because the more time you have, the more opportunity to adjust and be flexible. Instead of giving them the job on Thursday, give it on Tuesday. You have a whole 2 extra days to make up for the disaster, and you dare not tell them that the job is to be submitted on Saturday, that is needed for Saturday. Many people do that. It's amazing how people do things like that and expect to turn out happy. No. You took it on Tuesday and demanded it for Thursday. And the failures that drag over by Friday are overcome, and you still have it by Saturday. Yes? That seems very simplistic. But we often fix our deadlines on the deadline, the line on which we are dead, if we don't submit it. And why would you do that? Set the deadline far ahead. Bring it forward. Let the deadline be much earlier. Thursday is even tight. But I'm making room for the fact that many times people do not bring things on time in printing. They themselves would have brought it to you. They said their last brother is sending in input, and it has not arrived by Thursday to Friday. This happens all the time. So you must have your standards too. And you inform them and say, you cannot give it to me later than this time. Are you hearing this? You demand, you cannot give it to me later than this time. I must have it at latest so and so time. That's your standard. Demand it. So if you need to quarrel with them and drag, you're quarreling and dragging on Thursday or Friday. Definitely not Saturday morning. It is clear. But take the counsel we receive from everybody else, put it together, and you should have something workable. So that was using a simple illustration. I like 2-3 people to tell me what is usually their major constraint, their bottleneck. Speak. Exporting a video. So she's a video editor, and when she's done with the video, the final stage that makes it into a downloadable file is exporting it. And it's influenced by what? The quality of the computer, the disk space, the size, of course, of the video, how it was recorded. And basically, we cannot control what a computer would do, except to the degree you can afford to buy a computer that has high specifications and all that. Now, if you can, what should you do? You buy it, because that's what we remove. That's the bottleneck. Yes. So you don't keep managing some low quality system with 512 megabytes hard disk space. You don't do that and say, oh, it's not my fault. It's your fault. If you're working in a company, you're delivering for them, you insist that they should expand the hard disk, the storage capacity, that they should increase it. Oh, you're using an 8 gigabyte, make it 16 or make it 32. You will spend money, you will spend time, you will make an effort to make the adjustment. If you keep saying, every time these video people, you fail us. Sir, I'm sorry, but you are a problem to us. Bring out 120,000 naira. Let's upgrade this thing. Let's overcome this bottleneck. And sometimes people act as though the problem cannot be overcome. It can be. You just have to be willing to spend the money or the time. Like with the printer, you have to stand up early in the morning. You're standing at his door. You're there when temptation comes in the form of a quick job to interfere with your job. You're standing there. And he's standing and he's saying, he's looking at you. Sorry, this man's job was already here. Because he stands there and someone said, please, I'll give you 100,000. Just do it. You're standing, you don't even try it. You're not doing anything. If he says, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. Don't worry, I won't do it here. When he leaves, I'll take it and give someone else to do it. Don't even try it. So, there are ways. You have to be willing. Now, the effort it will take to leave your house and go and stand there is that effort that removes the bottleneck. I'm just trying to point out that bottlenecks are not like automatic things that just move away. Okay? You have to break the neck of that bottle. You have to make it, widen it, do something about that. Fix your bottlenecks. We must fix our bottlenecks. Find them, fix them. You want to stop briefly and put there a bottleneck or two. So give me a second one. If you're jotting, just think of your bottlenecks.
Running an e-commerce business and logistics. So getting direct from China. And so you can't control what happens from when it has left China because of the custom duty from China and then gets into Nigeria, the flight issues and just C2. So custom, so you can't control that. And it's a major bottleneck for my business.
It's a major bottleneck that you have overcome or attempt to overcome in what way? Who wants to suggest how it can be overcome? Yes.
He can start ordering for new stock before he runs out of his old stock.
That is if he decides to stock, yes. But if it's being ordered from here, what do you do? If someone placed an order.
I resort to local arbitrage if it's that quick. But if I'm doing bulk, I have to get from China.
So you buy from around. You acquire from local customers who can deliver it in a day or two. Of course, your profit goes down, but that's better. At least you delivered something. Any other way? Yes. Can I suggest that you also extend your time for delivery and communicate that to the customers? You add a week on top of whatever time or two. It's far better you deliver earlier than they expected it than after. Don't you think so? Instead of saying, oh, it will be here by the 13th. You say, we're looking at the 23rd. And then you call them on the 15th and say, your item has arrived. So you factor that in. Instead of acting loosely and saying, it's the 13th. They said it's the 13th. Then you start telling stories about, they said. Experience should have taught you that what they said is not necessarily what happened. And there are people that gladly do this. They don't care about disappointing people. And then there are those other ways of overcoming. Just don't make promises you won't keep. That's a constraint. I saw one more hand.
Unplanned issues during the work, like as I'm into painting. So during our painting works, issues or problems we didn't expect. For
Unexpected issues. Give real examples.
Broken wall, or as we're doing, the client say, they need to plaster this place. And this is while they are painting. And
a broken wall. You should have seen a broken wall before you took the job. But the plastering, I agree. But the broken wall, did it break while you're painting?
Some of them are holes. Some of them are things you didn't notice because
That's
we didn't go
your
down
fault.
through.
So, how do you plug that bottleneck? You go around.
You have to inspect the
You
place.
have to inspect. You absolutely must inspect. That's one. You've answered that. But another, the client deciding to plaster first, slowing you down. Do you know inspection would have handled that too? You came ahead and asked them, when you plaster this before we start? They can't change their mind later. And they said, okay, I'll plaster it, good. All right, sir. So when you're done, call me. And you don't waste your time. Now, for those who don't understand, when they move to site, move all kinds of equipment to a site, and then you are slowed down. You ought to have spent 3 days there, and you go spend 2 weeks. Many things are affected. Accommodation, so many things are affected. So the question is, you can't keep me hanging here. And the only way you could have taken care of that is by inspection. In fact, the master thing to do is to inspect. Insist on going all around, taking notes, and saying at the end of it, here are the things that you asked me to do. These are the challenges to doing what you want me to do for you. This is the solution I am preferring for the things. OGSM. What's the objective? Write down. To help you accomplish that, what is the goal? What are the strategies? And what are the measures? Well, we get to this. I had hoped to do this while I'm wrapping up. OGSM. What's the objective here? To paint your... What is the goal to help us accomplish this objective of beautifying this place? The goal is to finish in 3 days. What is the strategy to finish in 3 days? It means I am, based on the number of walls, a total length of 82 feet. Measure the walls. How fast must I paint? Based on my skill level. How long does it take to cover 10 feet of wall? 20 feet of wall? I can do 50 feet a day from my experience. And it's 82 feet of wall. Was it? That means 2 days I can do a neat job. You know this in your head. That means you measure the wall. If you measure enough times, you'll be able to measure it with your head. Walking, you're adding. I'll need, what will you say with your mouth? 2 days? No. If they didn't tell you it was urgent, tell them you'll be working for 4 days. You're factoring in the unexpected. But before that, the strategy, that's the S. M is for measures. What measures are you going to take? So, objective, goal, strategies, measures. Now, this is the strategy I've just proposed to you. And these are the measures you must take. I'm going to move this here. I'm going to carry this there. I'm going to do this here. I'm going to do that. You know. Why did you say 4 days? We're giving room for idiosyncrasies, for delay in paying. And this is your in-house 4 days, not out-house. That means someone else that is asking you to come do a job for them, you're telling them, I won't be free till after 4 days. Instead of saying, I'm sorry, this person that invited me to work here has held me up. You already factored that in. If you finished in 2 days, well and good. If after you started the work and did all you were supposed to do, there was still, by some misfortune, a hindrance, what you're meant to do is, what do you call it? Miscellaneous events that occur interferences, interruptions. So I would want you to, using that as an example, cater to this challenge. Now there's more that could be said about that. And maybe you need to talk to us in camera for that. But there are ways around it. We are still at constraint hunt. The topic we already addressed. Note down anything you want to contribute. If we have time at the end, we'll listen to it, okay? I'll say this much as we move on, that we are not deliberate enough often, and that's why many things fail. And I'll give your assignment is that you should identify one thing that usually slows you down, and one thing that usually slows you down. Identify it per week and take it down. Brainstorm, discuss it with your team, engage with your consultants. Say, how do I handle this bottleneck? This is my big bottleneck. This is where I always hit a road bump. How can I overcome it? Once you get the solution, use it. Insist on using it. And suddenly, the same thing that was such a headache, such a source of pain, can become a source of great blessing. When every other person is stressed, you had overcome that bottleneck. You know, you had overcome it. Let me give an example for mothers when they are trying to get the children ready for school or church. Lay out all their clothes in the morning, clean their shoes, do all of that in the night before. Don't do it in the morning. In fact, this is for everybody. Set out your clothes the day before, always. What you're wearing the day before, have it the day before, always. What you're wearing the next day, have it the day before, every single time. Deliberately pick it up, bring out the shirt, bring out the blouse, bring out the pants, bring out the skirt, look at it, make sure it's okay, hang it. If you're traveling, don't pack your box on the day you're traveling. Pack it before you sleep. Sleep during the trip. Sleep by 2 a.m., 3, 4. Do not plan to pack in the morning. Do this tiny thing and watch everything change. You'll be shocked at the difference it makes. You just wake up, go and have a bath, blurry-eyed, and pick up your box, and you're off. Keep it for that last minute. You will forget the key to the house you're traveling to. And that's why people forget the most terrible things. You forget your plane ticket, your bus, you forget to carry your wallet. You forget bad things. Bad things. What do you do with the toothbrush? What do you do with the slippers? The things you still need that money for you back. Keep them out like this. Don't keep them where they've been in the bathroom. If you've been staying somewhere, hotel, wherever you've been staying, bring them out and keep them on a small table. Use them from there. Take them from there, go in, brush your teeth, drop it back there. Where the slippers, drop it back here. The towel, the sponge. Some people have sponges around the world. You know, bring it back to this central place. Find waterproof bags. Have waterproof bags. Not one. You should have started collecting it days before. For damp, wet things. Tie, tie, tie. The towel, the this, the that. That's your bottleneck when you're doing trips. It seems simple. The things people have forgotten, God have mercy. Who knows the worst thing someone forgot because of rushing travel? So he didn't carry the documents needed to be cleared. Yes? Similar. Credentials forgotten. You get into camp without access. Yes. I'm looking for something more horrific. Someone is not being honest. It doesn't have to be your experience. I'm talking about someone else's experience.
Someone going to pick his car in another state. He forgot the car key.
Thank you very much. I'm satisfied now. No, I was looking for reality, because if you live long enough, you cannot believe what has happened to people in this world. You do not plan things like that. And that's just it's a mega bottleneck. It makes people miss their buses, their flights, their this, their that. Makes people stressed. People are about to travel. They don't say bye-bye to people. They can't say, they are angry. People are parting from people. Instead of saying, miss you, love you, they are saying, and that's how they live. And one reason is this simple thing I said. If they're happy, everything will be different. But now there's anger and irritation because of the pressure. Book the bolt ahead. Anyways, let me move on. Say, why this bolt? Nearest bolt, 15 minutes. Book it before you buy. Pay extra 1,000 or 2. Don't hang yourself. That's your turn. You're sitting like this in the car. All right. So I think that one touches the bone. The next thing we have here is serve to scale. And what does this mean? The things that stand in the way, it's similar to the earlier one. You need to remove the roadblocks for others so that they can succeed. You must remove the roadblocks that stand in the way of others. So your workers, your teammates, you have to serve in a way that helps them increase their productivity. You understand? Let me clarify. Everything we just said about you removing your own roadblocks, find out what is a roadblock for your teammate, your employee, your co-worker, and help them remove it. So you are the writer of the books, but there's someone who carries it to go and print. And the person has the challenge and says the printer didn't, everything we just said about the printer, tell them this. But how can you help it? You're the one that is the writer. Don't deliver to him on Thursday. Make sure you deliver to him on Monday or Tuesday. Do you understand? You remove the roadblock. That's if you have a hand. But there are the situations where you don't have the hand. It's not you they are waiting for. You're not the roadblock. But they have a roadblock. Who can think in their workplace? The real deal. Real thing. Something that usually slows down your co-worker. Someone you work with. Someone works for you. Someone that you may work for. Anybody? Think. What slows down your employee? What slows down your colleague? What is it? Forget about what slows them down. What's the challenge they usually have? You've heard your boss shouting at them once or 10 times. Why does he shout at them? What is it they do that makes them going to... Yes.
Lack of proper information.
They don't communicate.
Yes.
They don't. So you have colleagues. So this is the roadblock. The person does not communicate. So what could you do? You could create a simple reporting system format, or you set a reminder on your phone and say, tell Tina to send in report. Now it's Tina. Who knows what's worrying her from her? So you set an alarm on your, and you say, Tina, be showing me that your report. Let me help you edit it before you show it to Oga. Make sure you give it to me before 12. Before 12, okay? And you insist. Tina, have you done it? It's 9 o'clock. Oh. It's 10 o'clock. Oh. No, go and do it. Don't worry, I'll handle this. Go and do it. Do it at once, please. Don't waste time. When you do that, okay, it's good. It's good. So forward it to him. But again, people have issues. You might hear them say, I'll do it later. You say, do it now. And they send it. Now, so you created a reporting system. They don't communicate. The complaint you've heard every time is, why didn't you tell me? 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 Now, there's none of that because there's a reporting and it's consistent. Any report, an alarm. Again, you have helped them. Now, do you know what this does? That's what it means to serve, to scale. You're serving, but you're not just serving your own service. You're scaling up the service. You know what it means to scale something? Is it to take it from a level to a higher level? So it's not just that they admire you as this hard worker. The problem with you being the one hard worker is maybe you bring in 80,000 a week into the business. Your colleague brings in 30,000. What if they brought in 80,000 too? And the other one brought in 80 others. So help them remove their roadblocks. And you've scaled up the whole business. Are you understanding? Remove their roadblocks. Help get rid of their own roadblocks. Anyone will give another example? We move on. I know this one requires a level of benevolence. I mean, you need to be altruistic. You need to be loving. You need to. But it's not loving to your colleague. You're being helpful to your whole business. Your whole workplace will benefit. He doesn't communicate. Because he didn't communicate, your boss couldn't take action on time. Couldn't take action. Everybody, the total turnover for the month was 820,000 naira. It could have been 1.5 million. Your boss would have thought of, I think I should give bonuses. Everybody extra 50,000. It didn't happen. It does not occur to you that why it didn't happen, you could have. What do you think Joseph was? Joseph scaled up everything. Those guys made everything do better. That's why they were given everything to handle. Anything they thought did better. There's no way you can tell me they do it by themselves. Are you saying they were farming and doing everything for Potiphar or the king, Nebuchadnezzar, by themselves? Not possible. They represented things. Many people, workers do, well, provided I do my own. You don't get. You will always just be a worker. You will not be in charge. Why? Because you don't scale up things. You don't make things do better all round. You pick one or two and then say, I'm doing my work. Maybe remove roadblocks. You look at what they are doing and say, have you tried doing it this way? Yes.
The lawyers in the office not having updated diaries. So the rule is that we should have just 5 cases in a day. But lawyers will come back and we have like 10 cases in one day because they didn't have their diaries updated. So everybody went and picked the same dates in different courtrooms. And we come back and my boss is like, you better go back to that court and tell them that date you took is closed. And it's not possible because they've already told the other counsel.
Yes.
So there's always, I think one day my boss was so offended because he had to be in 6 courts in one day in different local governments around. He was so offended. And we did not, I defaulted because I did not have my diary updated. So I picked a date and I had to go and report myself. And he was so furious it's a major thing that.
So how can you overcome it? That's what I was waiting for.
Making sure that people's diaries are up to
date. And how can you do that? Very simple. Isn't there diaries? There's a collective diary. Okay. So how could so like you who was a newbie in that law office, you go around, it's an open space. You go around with the main thing, you walk around saying, oh, I'm here. You turn their diaries. They are more than glad to hand it over. Human beings are amazing. You write in, you open it, you place it. Those are all the cases. You just go around. How long do you think it would take to walk around all the offices doing that?
30 minutes.
No? You write like it's now? Oh, you're talking about from ancient times to forever. No, I'm talking about after the first time you've done it. I mean the day after. The first one will be a project. 30 minutes to an hour. Thereafter, how long will it be taking?
15 minutes.
Per day?
Yes,
It's not up to 15 minutes, madam. How many lawyers do you have? Are they up to 100?
No, about 10.
So what are you talking about? Per day? After they came back today, it's 1 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock, it's 3 o'clock. You're going around doing that thing. How can it take 15 minutes? How many cases did they possibly pick? Is one now or two? Bah, update. Adjourn to. Update. Adjourn to. And this other matter, because he had two. This other one had one. This one had three. Adjourn to. That's all. You're done. It's going to take about 5 to 10 minutes. Except the offices are in different, multiple, but I think you're in one space. Yes?
I have a suggestion. My suggestion is that what I used to do be to, at the end of every week, for instance, on Friday, you create a table, and in this table, you have the list of cases for the next week.
This is
That way-
personal, right? For your cases.
Yes.
We are not discussing. We are discussing.
I think it's with respect to what she said
It
about.
is only with respect to what you say. This is your personal table. I know you came here about how to help your colleagues. We are finished talking about your
Yes.
personal.
Yes, it's still the same thing in the law firm.
It's not hospitals we are discussing. Yes, it's the law firm.
Yeah, so I was saying that if at the end of every week,
What happens?
a timetable is created for the cases for the next week, it will help the lawyers going to court the next week to know that these are the cases we have already in our diary. And if they are picking their
So the
dates, they will
daily
know.
is not good. The weekly is better. Did you hear her talk? The daily, the weekly, they don't go to court once a week now. Go to court every day.
I was just saying ahead.
In addition,
Okay, sir.
I think you should have a calendar. Please, can I have one of those calendars? That one should be out there. Pam. Yes.
So I was going to say that alternatively, they could have a Google Doc form where everybody just updates their.
Sweet boy. We are not 17 years to 25 years old. The lawyers are in their 40s, 50s, and beyond. We don't do Google. You have to think of these things, be realistic. This, for the month, is all written there now. Every single case, you put one. To acquire this for your office, we'll give you the corporate rate. It should be times 5. Take this. When you're returning, write down every case. Write down every case. They'll see it with their eyes. They'll know. You can ask, we can produce an expanded version of this with bigger boxes. Remove Sunday completely. There are no cases on Sunday or Saturday. This has Saturday and Sunday. So this box will be larger. Everything will be bigger. Office only version. Are you hearing? You write down every case. Everybody is seeing it as they are entering the distance from reception. They can see the cases. Only versus Akata. Rabisco versus Mataska. They are seeing it. They are seeing it. They are seeing it. They can see it. They know that, no. Don't even go there. It will be as they are leaving the office too. They will be standing and looking. And they note the dates that are open. Okay? Become a mental thing. People know, to lawyers know that, this case will not finish today. So ahead of time, it would have been said. That's 2. We're giving you 2 solutions. 3. Who knows another solution? You don't have meetings. I'm sure people are going to cut straight from home and all that, which happens. That means you have to have the meeting the evening. Why am I giving your office free counsel? Tell them to consult on Perplex Consulting, but have a meeting. Propose this, that in the evenings before they scatter. That's where you pick dates. These are the dates you should pick. Okay? You and you. Your case will not finish this time. So you're picking this date. You and you're picking this date. You and you. So do not pick any date here, because these are the options they have to pick. Are you getting? Now I know it's not they alone that will decide, because the lawyers on the other side may say, no, I'll not be available. This, and they'll agree on the date. But I'm saying a simple office meeting discussing dates, in addition to the diary, it helps them pay attention. All right then. Let's move on. Now the weekly suggestion is good. Even in fact, that meeting could be weekly. What you said. But of course, the updates have to be daily. Because the problem is not a weekly problem, it's a daily problem. Is that clear? How do you know you have succeeded? Remember the metric? There's always a metric. Do you remember? The former weeks, on the former sessions we had, you have to write down these two. You write down, what is this bottleneck? What is this constraint that you always go through? How do you know you have overcome it? When your colleague tells you that problem is gone, when your boss says, this is really good, we are no longer having that challenge, that's how you know. Who was the earlier person that gave me an example of how to help? When there's no more shouting, the office. Okay, did anyone think of another example? This actually ought to have had almost every hand. Again, we are struggling for time, but almost every single hand should have gone up, because in all your workplaces are problems.
Lateness.
So someone could get a call every morning. Have you left? It's 7 o'clock. As you are going to have a bath, you're calling. This was the agreement. Have you looked at the time? Have you had a bath? Head out too. I hope you're on the way. I mean, these are different things you do. The person realizes, you hear, as you call, they go, Jesus. They were just going deep into the book of Galatians. They're just beginning to get insight. Tell them, stand up and have a distance now. 2, I'll give you another thing. Bathe early. Lateness, the king of trouble. Bathe early. Bathe before the other thing. Go and have a bath. If you're living in a place with shared bathroom facilities, have a bath after you wake up. Now, there are people that will go cook and they don't want to sweat and smell, all that. Let them bathe later. You, that doesn't have that duty, you do a few chores. If you have chores to do, sweep and all that, then go straight and have a bath. Oh, in my house, we'll have devotions by 6, bathe by 5:45. Be done. You'll make a difference, not just for yourself, for the whole world. Take that example, serving to scale. What's the roadblock? That they go to work late. But that's because both of you are dragging the bathroom and you're always running first. See a communal house, you see there's a run for the bathroom. It's like a flood. You hear it like a sound of running people, grown-up people running, because they have limited facilities. But if someone would serve their co-workers by simply freeing up the bathroom, and there's only 2 people left, and of course the one who is going to work by 9 o'clock shouldn't precede the one who is going by 8, except they are going very far. That's also simple. A simple plan. What's the challenge? Oh, the challenge is that I go to work late all the time. Who bathes first? There are situations where it seems nobody is even thinking. All you have to do is have a small family meeting. Because I go to work by 8. Please don't enter the bathroom by 7:30. Please enter after I have come out. Then you enter. Simple. Let's hope you're dealing with real human beings, because some people you wonder what their actual species is. They could say, no, please, and finish and come out. You say, no, I want to bath first, then I'm going to now go and serve to scale. Work in a way that helps. See them as teammates and all that. What?
Part of the challenges, not being skillful in the task.
So you train them. An unskilled person, solution, you train them. You train them. You come and watch, come and learn, come and watch, come and learn. Okay? Remember, this is for bosses, and remember, this is a leadership guide. Do you remember? This is especially for those who are leaders of anything. Identify what slows down your co-worker and remove it. Find it and remove it. Is this clear? But those two smiling staff, members of GAM 8, as I'm talking, you're telling each other, remember them? What are you doing with each other? The way they are smiling is like, you see, I said it. I wish you would share your mind with us. So, sincerely, identify and remove. Identify. Want to say something? Say it.
Please, there's something I would like to share. Early this year, I had a challenge in my team. So I am head of research and publications. And the person who is responsible for design was supposed to prepare materials that we take to schools to train learners on how to use tech and tech related. So I helped to coordinate, to gather all the contents of the material. Then the person who was responsible for the designing was delaying the work. I think what was responsible for that was the fact that he also had other personal jobs that he was doing, and he could not communicate that to the head, like the over.
He did not could not.
He did not, because he could have. So he did not. He failed in that aspect, and he will keep assuring that he will get it done.
A dishonest person, integrity is missing. Yes, so
exactly. So the overall head actually holds me accountable for what every other person does, because I am head of that unit.
Yes.
So it was a big challenge for me trying to tell him that this person was not delivering the.
Why was it a challenge?
Because I don't know why it took time. It took so much time before I was able to convince him to get some other person. So since you said we're supposed to help.
You had told your boss in the future that this person is constantly not
delivering at the time he was supposed to.
Was this for one project or for multiple projects?
For one, that was the first time I was working with them actually, and it was already in the system.
Okay.
Okay, so I communicated, and it was very difficult for him to do something about it. So it had to take so much time before I convinced him to get some other person to have that job done.
So what's your headache? If the big boss is not interested in failure of his moving parts, not
it's because
your fault.
he said something about assisting. I'm just asking if there's a way I could have helped.
Sometimes, if you had the skill to do it, if you can't, you must communicate it. Thank you for helping me. Thank you. But I had wanted to say this. You know, sometimes the way you help the team is to help get rid of non-functional parts. Oh, absolutely. Why the smile? Okay, keep it there. When you're driving, when you want to travel to a place, please put a bad part. Just have a good trip. Have a good trip. Put in a bad piece. You know, let the hose have a hole. Put it. Drive. It will stop you. Where did the last one stop me? It will stop you on the Ikorekpene road. You're lucky. Okay, it was Ikorekpene. It's Yenudim. I was going to Owerri, and the hole in the hose or the belt, you have a faulty part. Now the car had been with the mechanic. He returned it. So I expected it to be fine. But he hadn't done something well. So it parked me on the road. Thankfully, I found someone who got on a bike, went and brought a mechanic from somewhere, came back, they fixed it, it started raining cats and dogs. A faulty part will stop the whole vehicle. And there are people who are experts. Africans love to do it. It's a terrible thing. I wish what people do to people's businesses will happen to them in their businesses, they would stop all that nonsense. Because you wouldn't, for a second, buy a bad part deliberately, knowing it will stop the whole thing, clog the whole system. The system stops working. Do you know what a stroke is? A blood clot gets stuck in the blood lines of your body. A blood clot gets stuck. You call it a stroke. It shuts down parts of the body. The whole system is pulling itself along because of one. So you don't want this. You want to remove these things. You want to bleed it. You want to let it out. Is this clear?
What if, yes, there's a bad worker, but you cannot remove.
There's no choice because, like, in he was a graphic artist.
Yes, and in this case, you have to, before you get a replacement for that person, there has to be. He has to be out of the place.
Why can't he stand? Because he'll sabotage the system.
For that role, if you're going to get another person, if somebody comes to fill in that role, the idea is that there's already someone there. It's like I don't want to call it a cult, or I don't know how to explain that. It's like this person is already here, so we can't come in. The person has to be out. And you're in this fix, you don't want to take out the person so that place is not vacant.
I have no idea of why that business has subjected itself to strange rules. I wish I understood why. Maybe you meet us in private.
Let me help her. So, for, let's say, we're using the example of printing. I don't know if it's just about the local printers or it's what they do elsewhere. If you hear them call someone an operator, let's say he's operating a cut machine, he's operating the cutter, he's operating whatever monogramming machine, they respect themselves. That's what she's referring to, like a cult mindset.
Well, let me say this, because I had the picture you had in mind, and I'm saying yes, that's beyond you because you're employing people who have formed themselves into an association. It's a kind of in a union. Okay, so they have an unregistered union that wields unnecessary power. And this is because there are very few people doing those jobs. So in the long term, what can you do? Train your own people. Take the one who does not know and train them from the beginning. But don't train one if you can afford it. Train. Break that monopoly. It's like a monopoly they've created. We were just talking about this with the other gentleman yesterday. It's a normal thing. They come into a place. A boss said how he surcharged his worker for doing a bad job. 2,000 naira. The person left him immediately. And they can move from there and work with your neighbor just in the next shop. That's it. So they are like that's why she used the word, almost like cult. It's a union. That's a better phrase to use. You know, they have a union, an unregistered union that insists where they got the agreement, how they do it. You know, I guess they hear it. They pick it up. If it's someone who doesn't know, they won't mind them. If you bring them from far, they won't mind it. They won't join them. But once you have a deficiency in the number of skilled personnel, this is always the case. So one could push and push and push till there's an abundance of skilled personnel. And it's probably when they are being trained that they tell them, you know, make sure you don't ever. And maybe, I hope they don't swear oaths. But it's a very silly thing. And it's because they are sure they will always have a job. Which is why a body like this, one of the things they should look into is training. You train 5 train multiple. You break the monopoly. If you have the standing, we can scale it up. Train 2,000. It will disappear. People will be pleading to be employed. With time, machines will come. They will be. It's because also, of course, it's the old machine, mostly. Because learning how to use the cutters and the rest is easier. It's the old machine. It's laziness. You do know all of this rooted in the fact that many people are unwilling to learn things. So you are helpless. But it's not just, yes, their own. They don't take over each other's places, but other jobs, carpenters and all that, they try to do it too. You call them to do something, they say, oh, if someone is doing it, don't worry. Well, this is a thing. They think it's a form of honor. Unfortunately, they seem not to care about the fact that their co-skilled person, their co-artisan lacks integrity. And the reason for KBBM, amongst other things, is to teach people to walk in integrity. All right, let's go on. Empowered outcomes. We delegate results with guardrails. Empowered outcomes is referring to not telling you what to do. Instead of giving you a task, you're given an outcome. I'm going to say that again. You're giving ownership of a job to your workers. You are not giving a task. Don't say, listen very carefully. I'm talking to managers. I'm talking to leaders. Don't say, carry this thing and give to the printer. Then say, have you gone to check with the printer if he has done that thing? Ask the printer how much he's collecting when he's giving per time. Those are tasks. This is a big deal. This is a really big one. Rather, say, you are responsible for printing this thing. Okay? Get all the information you need. But I want this thing delivered by Thursday. That's an outcome. What's the outcome? Thursday delivery of 100 copies of this. It's up to you. I'm gone. When you start giving people outcomes, not a task. Call the printer. Tell the printer. Ask the printer. Follow up on the printer. What happens with the person giving out the task is that for everything you didn't remember to do, the worker did not do. It's the most horrendous thing. It's the closest thing to a horror life, at least from my experience, than anything else. Because everything you don't tell to be done, and you wonder why they are not doing it. Because all they had was a task, as opposed to a project with outcomes. The outcome, you're telling what you want delivered at the end. The task, you're saying what you want to be done per time. Is that clear? We must empower outcomes. To do that, that means you're giving funding, yes? Yes? Now, of course, I know the objection that will rise. What if they do a terrible job? So those are the guardrails. Did you hear when I said provide guardrails? You didn't? Give them ownership of that job with guardrails. What are the guardrails? 3 things you must do as you're going. Make sure you don't print without my seeing the final thing. Design. Make sure you get back to me latest Tuesday. You remember they were to deliver on Thursday. Make sure you get back to me by Monday.